Let's quickly make some striped papers. You can easily make striped papers to match your photos in your layouts by using the eyedropper tool, and you'll see how quick and easy this really is. I have here the colors in the current designer palette in the forums. I'm going to use my eyedropper tool to get this turquoise color, and then I'm going to grab my brush tool and I'm going to just choose any brush. I have a new transparent layer here. I'm going to make sure it's the active layer. Hold down the control key, I'm sorry, the shift key to make your line straight, and just draw a straight line. I'm going to get the green color, activate my brush tool again. This time I'm going to use the bracket keys on my keyboard to make the next stripe a little bit larger. This time I'm going to show you, let's get the yellow color. This time I'm going to show you a little trick that you can do. Click to activate the options on your brush and move the spacing slider. If you look up here in the icon area, you can see that the brush has changed, but the circles aren't quite far enough away from me. However, that might make an interesting stripe right there. But I'm going to go ahead and move them a little further apart, and I think I like that. And so now I'm going to make some dots for my line rather than a solid stripe line. Grab the rectangular marquee tool and simply pick a small area. I don't want to go through the middle of my dots. Let's just choose 2 dots. A small area. Go to the Edit drop-down menu and define pattern. You can name your pattern if you would like, but I'm just going to use the default one that comes up. Control D on the keyboard will get rid of the selection. I'm going to go ahead and make this layer invisible. I'll come back to use it more later. I'm going to make a new layer, get the eyedropper tool for the orange color, and fill it with the paint bucket. I'm going to make that invisible because I no longer need it, and I can just make it visible again whenever I need to grab those colors. I'm going to go to the Create Adjustment layer icon and choose Pattern, and you'll see immediately my pattern has showed up on the page. And I have a striped paper, and if you've chosen colors from my photos, it's going to match my photos. You can use as many stripes as you want or as few. You can space the stripes apart farther or closer. You can add colors on top of colors. There are so many different options in creating these striped papers. On the pattern fill option bar, I can choose the size, let me zoom out, of my stripes to make totally different papers. If you go to the View drop-down menu and Print Size, this is a good way to view it because this is the way it's going to be printed out. And I tend to like smaller stripes because they don't take away from my photo as much. And then click OK. Then you're going to want to add texture. If I wanted to, I could right-click and merge down, and now I have a permanent paper. And I have brought in a texture layer already of a texture I made, and I'm going to move it above my paper layer, and I've got it set to a soft light, and you can see that it has created a nice texture to my paper, and now I have a new striped paper for my page. Let's go back and look at some of these other techniques. There are so many ways that you can use these concepts. I'm going to go ahead and hit D on my keyboard to get black in my foreground color. And this time, when we do our brush tool, we're just going to simply make one line. I'm going to get my rectangular marquee tool, make a selection of it. It doesn't really matter, we're not using the entire line. Edit drop-down menu and define a pattern. Let's make this now invisible, and we are going to go hit Control D to get rid of my marching ants and do the same thing that we did before and hit pattern, and we can adjust the size of our stripes. I'm going to go ahead and grab let's say this green color, make that invisible again, and on top of my pattern fill box I'm going to create a new layer, fill it with that color, then I'm going to hit Control G on my keyboard, and now you can see I've changed my stripes to the color in the layers palette. I'm going to go ahead now and make another new layer with the same stripe pattern. Let me show you how you can double click. I'm moving it too fast, and I can choose, here's the pattern that I made before, and I could choose that pattern, or I could go back to my plain striped pattern. And let's edit this striped paper until it's somewhere in coordination with the other striped paper. I'm going to go ahead and maybe get this turquoise color. I have to be on the right layer to do so. Make that invisible again, and this time I'm going to make a new layer above my new striped pattern and hit Control G to group them. Down here maybe I'm going to want to go back, get my orange color, let's make that invisible, and create a new layer. Use my paint bucket tool, and I'm going to fill that like that. Now if I want to go back and change the stripes, I can just double click on this and change the stripes until something comes along that I think I like. And once again you can turn on your texture and apply the texture to it, and there I have a whole nother new page. And so those are some other simple ways that you can use to make stripes. In this way it gives you a little bit more of a variety of options. If I wanted to do this again with a smaller line the second time rather than two lines the same size, that would be another option. If I wanted to instead instead of a solid color here, if I wanted to find a paper and bring a paper in above my stripe and then group them together, that's going to give a whole new look. In fact, let's maybe, here's my trash to treasure stuff that I gave out this weekend, and if I go and pick let's say this yellow one that has a lot of texture to it, I'm going to bring that into my layout. I'm just going to show you quickly how you can do this. And instead of this blue, I'm going to put this yellowed stripe over it, this pattern fill layer, and I'm going to group those together. And you can see there how it makes a whole new look and texture and feel to this layout. Of course, I might want to make that textured paper black and white, and then go ahead and activate this color, and that textured paper now becomes that turquoise color again, only it has its own texture to it from the previous layer. This just shows you some really quick ways that that this actually needs to be on overlay. There we go. And now it's taken on the texture of this paper, but it's this color through a blending mode, and I can go through and change the blending modes, use my arrow keys until I find a paper that I like. And a lot of this is just playing and having fun with it until something shows up that looks good. And I sometimes can sit here and play and play and play for a very long time. I kind of like that one right there, until I come up with papers that I like. And so I hope that you have learned a little bit from this, and I would love to see your striped papers. Go ahead and upload them to some place like ForShared, and then share them right in the forums so that we can all see what you've done. If you come up with some new ways to use these techniques for others to learn, let's all learn together. I'd love to learn from you too, so go ahead and share those in the forum also. But this is striped papers are really easy and really fun to do.